So I finally gotten all of my thoughts kind of together about Rey from The Force Awakens, and I think it's finally time that I can like make a video explaining why I think she's a really good character, really likable, not a Mary Sue, and why I think all of her powers and abilities and all that both are explained very well thematically in the film and also tie in with her whole character arc to make a lot of sense and to make it feel not cheap but earned. But before talking about Rey, I want to talk about the other main character in The Force Awakens who we follow, the other hero, Finn. And Finn's big character arc, as I felt it in the film, was that Finn has motivation. He has a purpose he wants to fulfill. He wants to join the rebellion, but he doesn't have an identity. He starts off as a nameless, faceless stormtrooper, and through the film, his wanting to be part of the rebellion and want to fight the First Order is constant. That's his constant motivation, is I want to save the day and be a good guy and fight the rebellion. But he doesn't know who he is up to that point, and so he gets his name from Poe, and he gets like a jacket from Poe, and from then on he kind of fakes it until he makes it. He meets Rey, and he says, "Oh yeah, no, I'm part of the Resistance. Like I'll get us to the planet." And he convinces BB-8 to give him the directions to the base and all that. And through this whole adventure, he holds on to "I'm part of the Resistance" as that big thing that is his identity. And as he meets other people and as he actually participates in the war from the other side, he gains an identity. He becomes a person as Finn. Now, Rey has the opposite problem where she knows who she is. She is, as we're introduced to her, she is a fully formed identity. She is a person unto herself. But she has no idea what her purpose is. She has no idea what she wants to do out of her life. And that is her whole character arc, is that she is on Jakku, and she's made a life for herself as a scavenger. And she has a daily routine. She goes into the Star Destroyer, and she scavenges parts, and she sells them, and she eats and stuff. And she's waiting for her parents to come back for her. That's her whole big thing for the film, and why she's so attached to Jakku, is that she's waiting for her parents to come back. Meanwhile, and as we see more of Rey and we see her in action, we see that she's perfectly capable of leaving on her own. We are told she's a pilot as she's running away from the marketplace that's under attack by the First Order. With Finn, she says, "I'm a pilot. You know, we don't we'll just rocket away from them." So we are told she's a pilot, and it's about as much as a given as we are about Luke Skywalker. We don't see Luke Skywalker fly a plane before he's in the X-Wing. We just see, he tells us he's a great pilot, and then we see him in the kind of final climactic battle flying around the Death Star and everything. And it's like, okay, he told us he was a pilot, so he's a pretty good pilot. And that's what we get with Rey. So that's our one given. And then the rest makes sense when you consider all of Rey's things, is she has this great potential, and she's learning how to focus it. She's learning how to use it. So we're introduced to her as a scavenger, and people are complaining, oh, she's a Mary Sue because she knows how to fix the Millennium Falcon. And it totally makes sense when you remember, no, she's been inside these big spaceships. Her whole life, she's been deconstructing and taking and examining parts of these spaceships, of the Star Destroyer. She lives in a hollowed out AT-AT. And she knows what they do because as she's selling them to the big jellyfish, globfish rather, market guy, she says, no, this is still valuable. This is worth more last time. And then he says, no, it's a quarter portion or whatever. And she's been doing this for years, so after years of taking apart these ships, you probably know, okay, this is attached to this, which does this, which does this. So I think based on her being a scavenger, it makes sense that Schultz knows how to fix planes and spaceships and knows what parts do. We see her fight with the staff in the beginning. That's another given that we have, is she fights with the staff in the marketplace when Finn first meets her. So we know that. And then when she gets the lightsaber, she's fighting as if the lightsaber were a staff. She's watched Finn and Kylo fight with the lightsaber before. But as soon as she grabs it, she's fighting with it as a staff. She's doing a lot of thrusts instead of swings and stuff. And Kylo like easily, now that, because he has more experience with the lightsaber, easily kind of deflects those attacks, even though he's in pain. And the lightsaber battle is a lot more cat and mouse in the beginning, and it's not until the planet starts falling apart where Rey can kind of find her footing, ironically, and even then she has to be rescued by by Finn and the other people on the Millennium Falcon before like Kylo really has can beat her. And then with the Force powers, she has no idea that she's she learns from all the other characters that she is sensitive to the Force. And all the Force powers that she uses, she sees them in use before using them herself. So when Kylo interrogates her, that's how she learns about the mind trick. And in that scene, you can easily see her kind of seeing, okay, again, reverse engineering, just like she did with being a scavenger and then finding out how to fix the Millennium Falcon. It's the same thing. She is experiencing what Kylo is trying to do to her, that Kylo is trying to read her mind to get information. And she turns it back on him almost immediately. She's like, no, if you can see inside my head, I can see inside your head. Right? And then it takes her a few practices, it takes her a few tries to finally get the Stormtrooper to rescue her. But she's seen Kylo do that. She understands, okay, this is something that he can do. Maybe I can do it too if I try hard enough. Because she's someone with that potential. And her whole character arc is about realizing that potential. It's about realizing that she is a pilot, she is a mechanic, she is a self-reliant human being, and she doesn't have to wait on Jakku for people to save her. And that's something that she really wants, and even at the end of the movie, when Finn comes back to rescue her, she's like, that's all I ever wanted, was someone to come back and, to come back for me. But the entire film, besides that, her entire arc is Rey learning, no, I'm great. I'm talented, I'm smart, I can fight. And what was keeping me back was thinking I needed other people. Is that I need to wait for other people, to come rescue me or to take me off Jakku or whatever. When I can do this all myself. And her arc isn't about struggle. It's not about everyone telling her she can't and then she has to prove that she can. It's about her realizing that she could have all along, that she had the power, that she was sensitive in the Force, that she can fly away from Jakku at any moment, that she can find her own purpose, and realizing and finally fulfilling all that potential. And it's very much, it's like, to compare it, but as soon as I made this comparison in my head, the whole thing gelled for me. She's a lot like Speed Racer in the Wachowski sibling Speed Racer movie. In that entire movie, nobody tells Speed Racer that he's not a good driver, that he can't win the thing. Everyone basically says, no, Speed Racer, the name is your movie. I mean, the movie is your name. You will win this race. And the entire movie isn't about seeing Speed Racer lose and lose and lose until he finally wins. It's about him finally getting the chance to compete in the Grand Prix. To say, no, Dad, I don't care what happened to my brother, and I don't care what the League wants, because the League has their own weird fiscal agenda to do with the whole Grand Prix. So he's like, I'm the best racer in the world. I'm finally at the Grand Prix. I'm going to show these losers just how fast I am, how good of a racer I am. And the pleasure, the enjoyment, his arc is about fulfilling that potential. It's about knowing that, okay, I can do this. I just need a chance to do this. And finally being allowed to do that. While Rey's is similar. It's that Rey has all this potential and thinks, no, I need someone else to tell me that I can do these things first. I need someone to come back to Jakku and take me away so I can finally be my own person. Because she doesn't realize that she's had this all within her all along. And that's what I really like, is seeing her kind of blossom into her own person like that. And that I feel, and that's the entire thing about Star Wars is, coming from a small place, having this great power inside you, and realizing that I can do this. I can save the world. And I just thought, right now, this just came on to me. Luke needed someone to tell him that he had power. Luke actually needed rescuing from his desert planet. He needed to go to Obi-Wan, and for Obi-Wan to say, "You're Force sensitive, your father was a Jedi, blah, blah, blah." He needed all that to motivate him. Rey doesn't need that. Rey doesn't have to be told. She learns on her own because she's always done everything on her own. And that's her character. Someone learning how to work with others, because she's been a loner her whole life. And she's like, well, I've always wanted people to come. Now I'm with people and I can finally be myself. Anyway, that's kind of my rant on Rey. I hope you enjoyed. If you still think she's a Mary Sue, whatever, I guess. You're entitled to your opinion that is wrong about things. I hope I did a good job explaining why I don't think she is. So yeah, that's pretty much that. Still not as cohesive maybe as I would like it to be, but just felt like getting all these thoughts down before everyone forgets about Star Wars and that this whole stupid controversy existed. So I did hope you enjoy this weird little video I made about Rey from Star Wars, and hope that you can swing by to hear me talk about some more things like comic books or other things, film, maybe some other time. So yeah, thanks.